What's up, guys? Welcome back to Clash with M. Today I decided to take the very difficult route of addressing ores and everything that has to do with them. So stay tuned. We're going to go over how to get ores, the problem with them, all the numbers, most of the numbers, and the best way to use them. So stay tuned to the very end for a good amount of information and my thoughts on how to make the system better. So let's dive in. What are ores? Ores are what we use to upgrade the new hero equipment in game. There's three types. There's the shiny, the starry, and the glowy ore. Depending on each type of equipment will depend on how much and which of these it requires, but that's the basics of it. You use it to upgrade all of these hero equipments that you can use on your heroes. Moving on is where the heck do you get these things? Starting off, on the shop there is typically a deal that gives you 10 free glowy ore. It does refresh once a week, kind of like everything else, so that's one place to get free ore. Just make sure you keep up with when it ends, because if you miss it, you miss it. Next is pretty self-explanatory. It's the raid medal store. Depending on how many raid medals you get, you can purchase 2 of each of these. I did run the numbers for these, so to purchase the weekly Starry Ore, both bundles, you're going to need 700 raid medals. For 100 glowy, you're going to need 600 raid medals, and for 1,000 shiny, you're going to need 700 raid medals, totaling up to 2,000 raid medals, which I don't know about you, but I don't know a clan that gets 2,000 raid medals that isn't super competitive, so that itself is a problem. It does limit what we can and can't purchase because we physically cap at other things, and that's assuming you only put your raid medals towards the ore, which is, I don't, personally. Next we have something similar is the weekly shop deals. I have broken down those numbers as well. So for the weekly shop, you can get 15 starry for 275 gems, 120 glowy for 300 gems, and 1500 shiny for 750 gems. This totals up to 1,325 gems, which if you check in the shop is equivalent to about $10 worth of gems, give or take. And the most obvious one is, yes, you can earn ore from doing wars. I will put the chart down below because it is a lot to go over, because depending on your town hall level and the outcome of the war determines how much you get. It does vary, but a simple way to put it is if you get 1 star or more on both attacks, you will get 100% of the loot, assuming your clan wins. If your clan loses the war and you still get 1 star on each attack, you're only going to get 50% of the ores, and if it's a draw, you're going to get 4/7. It's a really weird percentage, but that's only if you get a 1 star or higher on each attack. Anyways, here's the breakdown of the town halls and whatnot per each material, because depending on your town hall will depend on how much you get. Another way you can earn ores that isn't war but also requires different levels is going to be your star bonus. That's going to be refreshed every 24 hours, as you know, and you can see right here that depending on your league is going to depend on how many ores you get. Since I'm in gold right now, this is the amount I'm going to get, assuming I get my starry bonus, but this chart does indicate all of the star bonuses and how much you get per every 24 hours, assuming you get all 5 stars. Something similar you can do in game when you're trying to gem time, you can also gem resources. So let's assume I want to get my boots for my king, and I try to upgrade them, right? And it doesn't let me. It's going to populate a total. This total does actually have a mathematical equation attached to it. So if you want to gem your equipment and make up the difference, it's going to cost a lot of gems. So if you want 1 shiny ore, that's going to be 1 gem. For every 1 glowy ore that you're missing, it's going to cost 5 gems. And for every 1 starry ore that you're missing, it's going to cost 35 gems. So that's how it's totaled up. It does cost a lot if you're going to do it this way, just like it would be if you're trying to gem a building or whatnot. Something to add with the ores is there is a capacity, so you can only hold this much. Not that anybody's really going to reach that capacity, unless you're fully maxed, but just so you know, here's the capacity. Now that we've talked about all of the ways we can achieve getting ores, I want to talk about how many equipments there are in game and the amount it's going to cost for each of those equipments to kind of give you a time frame on how long it takes to get these ores for certain methods, because it is a really big balance problem I've noticed, and there's a reason people get stuck at certain ores, and we'll talk about that right now. So for our beloved king, there is going to be 7 equipments total for him. For the queen, it's also going to be 7. For the warden, there's going to be 6. And then for the RC, there's also going to be 6. And for the minion prince, there's going to be 4 types of equipment you can get. Depending on your town hall, obviously when you're lower town halls, there's going to be less equipment available. I'm talking specifically for 17. That's what I'll go with the entirety of this video. But if I get 500 likes, I will do a breakdown and charts for each town hall and the amounts and all that stuff. So if you want to make me suffer, let's blow this video up. That being said, totaled up, there is 30 equipments that have been given in the game, 10 epics and 20 commons. So that's the breakdown of the equipments and what we have and what the amount's going to be. So keep that in the back of your mind. Another thing to add is obviously if you're a certain town hall, your equipment's not going to be correct to these numbers because you are capped at a certain level. Like I said, I'm talking 17 here, so if you want a breakdown of a different town hall, I can attempt to do that for you, or if it gets 500 likes, I'll do a breakdown of each town hall and best way to spend their ores. So, yeah. Now we move to the really fun part, which is how much it's going to cost to upgrade an equipment from 1 to whatever the max level is for your town hall. Given this chart right here, I will run the numbers for a common equipment fully upgraded and an epic equipment fully upgraded. Then you can times that number by all of the epic equipments in game, which is 10, or all of the common equipments in the game, which is 20. So take this number, times it by whatever it is, and that's how much ore you're going to need to upgrade all of your equipment to max. It's a really big number and it's really sad, but if I want to upgrade a common equipment from level 1 all the way to max, it's going to cost me 27,260 shiny ore and 1,920 glowy ore. No starry ore on the common equipment, but that's how much it's going to cost to upgrade it from 0 all the way to max. And then for each epic equipment that you want to upgrade from 0 to max, it's going to be 56,060 shiny ore and 3,720 glowy ore and 480 starry ore to upgrade a epic equipment all the way max. Assuming you're doing nothing else in game to earn ores, which is unlikely, but this is the number I decided because you can get the most ores from your star bonus because it is a daily thing. At Town Hall 17, if you're attacking in Legends, getting your star bonus every single day, to upgrade a common equipment, it's going to take you 27 days of bonuses to earn enough shiny ore to upgrade it fully, and it's going to take you 35 days of star bonus to reach the glowy ore threshold that you need to upgrade a common equipment. 27 days and 35 days. That is a whole month of legend star bonuses to upgrade one common equipment from 0 to max. There's 20 common equipments. This is insane. And the moment you've all been waiting for, using only your star bonus at Town Hall 17 to fully upgrade an epic equipment from 0 to max, it's going to take you 56 days to reach the threshold of shiny ore. It's going to take you 68 days to reach the threshold of glowy ore. And for your starry ore, I just put good luck on there. This is like 2 months worth of multiplayer attacks to upgrade one epic equipment fully. Make that make sense. Disclaimer, yes, I did not take into account any of the other ways to earn ores because it would be way too much math and I'm not the smartest. But it does really show you how much work you actually have to do to equivalent that amount of ore. That being said, spend your ores wisely. I will say do not miss any of the things in terms of collecting any ore. Always do your star bonuses. Always try to do what you can to get those raid medals. Join a clan that has good raid medals. Participate in war and participate in a good war clan because although you might be in a decent war clan, every time you lose 50% of those ores you could be getting. Even if you just get a 1-star. It doesn't matter if you 6-pack in war. If your clan loses, you only get 50% of that loot. Pay attention to the weekly deals. If you're somebody that wants to spend $10 worth of gems every week to get the amount of shiny ore and stuff you need, go for it. That is all for you. But I personally don't want to be spending all that. And then obviously get the free glowy ore from the shop because glowy seems to be where the most lack is. Because if you run all the numbers, glowy ore is the one that always ends up being the most days. And pick your equipments wisely. Pick an equipment to start off that you're going to upgrade and only upgrade if you're going to make it in your main army, because it is a lot of time to do all of them. So definitely prioritize your equipment and decide which ones you want to dump all of your ore into. Moving on to a perfect world, if I could change Clash of Clans or make this any better, I would start with adding ores to the Clan War League shop. Yes, I know it's a bit weird, but the new equipments were just added to the shop, and I don't see why we can't also add ores as a way of spending your Clan War League medals, because you're still attacking a war to earn those medals, and I think it would be a good way to get some additional resources. Do I think they would do it well and have enough where it'd be worth it? I don't know, but that is one way I would put them in the game, so it could actually be another way of collecting it. A secondary method I would add is inside the pass, because right now in the gold pass there is no room for any ores. There's regular loot, there's raid medals, but we don't see any ore in here, and I would love to see the gold pass house some items that specifically help the hero equipment. You know, I think that would be great. And then finally, I know nobody's gonna go with me on this, but I think in another perfect world, I would definitely make it possible so that even in a multiplayer attack, you could get at least a little bit of ore. Because like I said, there is 30 equipments, assuming you're Town Hall 17, and trying to get all of those maxed is a chore with the amount of time it would take. So I think having it in multiplayer battle would definitely benefit the game a lot. Even if it's just one or two, you know, each, I think it definitely is something that could be tested and used. I don't know. That's just my mindset on it. One more thing I forgot to mention is there is occasional side quests in the game that you can use to get additional ores, such as the events. Sometimes the main events have them. The mini spotlight events don't usually have any ore included, but usually the main events do, and this new treasure chest event also has ores included. It's not always a given, but sometimes you can get ores depending on what it is. Playing Games hasn't had them so far. Nothing like that has had them, so the only way to get them is through all the ones I listed. It's very limited, and even when you can get those ores, it's typically in a small number and not enough to make it worth upgrading them quick enough. They dropped so many new equipments, it's going to be really tough if they plan on releasing any more before they give us time to catch up, because there's a lot of equipment to get through. And if it's going to take a month of star bonus to upgrade just one common equipment without any additional ways to get ore, it's going to be really hard, you know? That being said, do your research on your armies and figure out which equipments you're going to prioritize the most. Find out the ones that you're best with, find out the ones that are best for your army, and do what you can to get those daily star bonuses and find a good war clan, because although it's a slow climb, it's something that needs to happen, because equipments are one of the biggest aspects in the game now. If you want to be successful in your attacks, you're going to need good equipment. That being said, let me know what your favorite equipment is and what you've put all of your time, heart, soul into upgrading, because I definitely want to know what you guys think on this, and if you think of any other cool ways that Clash of Clans could incorporate more ore collection. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and if I get 500 likes, I will do a breakdown of each town hall with charts, with all the stuff. I will do all the math for you guys, assuming that you guys can reach that threshold. I bet you guys can, but thank you guys. Join my Discord. There's a lot of good stuff in there. I will link all of the attachments I put in this video on my Discord, so go check that out, and thank you guys so much again, and I will see you guys later. Bye.